Welcome to the How to Clean a Washing Machine, a step-by-step guide.
I am very excited to get into this one today.
Me too,
Yeah.
because I want you to imagine taking a bath in a tub you haven't scrubbed in a full year.
Oh, wow. That sounds completely awful.
Right, it sounds so gross. Like the water pouring from the faucet might be crystal clear, but the environment itself is just totally working against you.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel clean at all.
Exactly. Well, there's a very good chance you are doing the exact equivalent to your clothes every single week.
Which is a terrifying thought, honestly.
It really is. So today, my mission is to give you a shortcut to total appliance mastery and perfectly hygienic laundry.
I love that.
We are taking something you might normally write off as just, a boring weekend chore and flipping it into an empowering, surprisingly fascinating domestic hack.
It really changes how you look at your home.
It does. And we've got a fantastic comprehensive breakdown from Elche, South Africa, right in front of us. The central irony we are going to explore is just brilliant.
The irony that the machine cleaning your clothes is actually filthy.
Yes. The very machine you rely on to meticulously clean your clothes actually gets incredibly dirty itself. It is the ultimate paradox sitting right there in your laundry room.
What's fascinating here is that regular cleaning doesn't just prevent those strange, musty smells you sometimes notice on your towels.
Oh, I hate that smell.
Right. But it's more than just the smell. It fundamentally maintains the machine's mechanical efficiency and actively prolongs the appliance's lifespan.
So it's about saving money, too.
Exactly. You are protecting a major investment. Because when a machine is bogged down by internal buildup, the water pumps and the motor have to work exponentially harder than they were engineered to.
Which means they burn out faster.
Precisely. By mastering this process, you are ultimately making sure the laundry you pull out is genuinely scientifically clean.
Not just going through the motions of getting wet and spinning around.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's basically like taking a bath in a tub you haven't scrubbed in a year. The water might be fresh, but the environment is working against you.
It's a perfect analogy.
Before we get into the exact tactical steps of how to fix this, you really need to understand what you are battling inside the machine.
You have to know the enemy.
Right. What is actually building up in that dark, damp drum while you are blissfully throwing your gym clothes in week after week?
Well, you are essentially dealing with an invisible, thriving ecosystem.
Yikes. Ecosystem's not a word I want associated with my clean clothes.
I know, but over time, three main culprits accumulate. First, you have the biological grime from your clothes.
Like body oils and sweat.
Yeah, body oils, dead skin cells, sweat, all of that. Second, you have detergent and fabric softener residue.
Wait, the soap itself causes grime.
It does. Modern detergents are highly concentrated. If they don't fully rinse away, they form this sticky, microscopic film inside the drum.
Oh, that makes sense. And what's the third culprit?
Finally, you have hard water deposits. These are crystallized minerals, like calcium and magnesium, from your city's water supply.
So you mix all three of those together.
And it's bad. When you combine organic matter, sticky soap film, and a porous mineral crust, you create the absolute perfect breeding ground for bacteria, mold, and mildew.
Wow. And if you don't address that, you are basically washing your clothes in a microbial soup.
That is exactly what is happening.
That perfectly explains why sometimes you pull a load out and the fabrics feel stiff, or they have that weird sour smell as soon as they get a little warm or damp again.
Yes, that is the bacteria reactivating.
You'd think the design of the machine would prevent this, though, especially with high-efficiency front loaders being so incredibly popular right now.
You would think so.
But looking at the breakdown, those front loaders are actually the worst offenders.
They absolutely can be, mostly due to the basic physics of their design. Well, front loaders are incredibly efficient because they use gravity to tumble clothes through a smaller pool of water rather than filling a massive tub like top loaders do.
Right, they just flip the clothes through the water.
Exactly. But because the door is on the front, the design relies on a thick, heavy rubber gasket to create an airtight seal.
Otherwise, the water would just pour out onto the floor.
Right. It prevents thousands of gallons of water from flooding your floor over the machine's lifetime. But that necessary gasket features folds and crevices.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, the little rubber lip.
Yes, and it is essentially a moisture trap. It creates a dark, damp pocket where water pools after every single cycle.
And mold loves dark and damp.
It thrives on it.
Yeah.
If you leave that unchecked, mold spores, which are naturally present in the air and on your soiled clothes anyway, will find that moisture and thrive there almost immediately.
So you are fighting a very real, very stubborn biological and chemical battle,
You really are.
which means you can't just wipe it with a paper towel and call it a day. You need the right tools.
Nice.
Definitely. A paper towel won't cut it.
The source material outlines a highly specific arsenal for this offensive. You can use specialized washing machine tablets,
Which are great and very convenient.
or you can go the natural route with good old-fashioned distilled white vinegar and baking soda.
Both are incredibly effective.
But it's the physical tools that really caught my eye here. You need a microfiber cloth, a toothbrush, a sponge, a small non-metal brush,
Uh-huh.
a hard bristle brush, and a shallow container for collecting water.
It sounds intense. Why these specific tools? Why a microfiber cloth instead of just an old rag?
Because every tool serves a distinct mechanical purpose.
Okay, break that down for
Well,
me.
a standard cotton rag often just pushes microscopic mold spores around the surface of that rubber gasket,
It just smears them.
pretty much. Microfiber, on the other hand, is made of incredibly fine synthetic fibers that are split during manufacturing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this creates thousands of tiny hooks and a slight static charge. It physically grabs and lifts the spores and the sticky residue away from the surface.
Wow, so it's actually pulling the grime off. And what about the toothbrush?
The toothbrush is crucial because you have tiny siphons and nozzles in your detergent drawer that a normal sponge simply cannot reach.
Right, all those weird little plastic corners.
Exactly. You are addressing two different types of buildup, the chemical scale and the biological mold. So you need tools that can scrub, lift, and reach into extreme tight spaces.
That makes total sense. You are prepping for a highly targeted mission.
Exactly.
So the primary offensive starts right in the belly of the beast, the machine's drum.
The main event?
Right. The strategy is to run a hot vinegar cycle. You pour 2 cups of distilled white vinegar directly into the detergent dispenser and run an empty cycle on the absolute hottest setting available.
Which is very important.
But wait, we need vinegar to kill the mold, but it can eat the machine. How do we balance this chemical warfare? The documentation explicitly warns that frequent overuse of vinegar can damage rubber seals and gaskets.
Yeah, that is the crucial tension of using natural cleaners, and it comes down to basic chemistry.
Okay, chemistry class, let's hear it.
So vinegar contains acetic acid. Its acidic nature is exactly what makes it so incredibly effective at dissolving those alkaline hard water minerals.
It just melts them away.
Basically, it breaks the chemical bonds of the calcium deposits and eats through the sticky soap scum where the bacteria hide.
But acid and rubber don't mix well long term.
Right. Prolonged exposure to acid slowly leaches the plasticizers out of synthetic rubber.
And plasticizers are what keep the rubber flexible.
Exactly. If you use it too frequently or in massive concentrated doses, those flexible rubber seals that keep the water inside the machine will eventually become brittle, shrink, and crack.
Which leads to a massive leak in your laundry room.
Exactly. A huge mess. So the natural acidic properties of the vinegar absolutely remove the bacteria and the crusty residue, but moderation is key to appliance longevity.
So just don't overdo it.
Right. You want to use just enough to alter the pH and do the job. 2 cups is plenty for a full machine.
And the heat helps too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The boiling hot water does a lot of the heavy lifting. Heat accelerates the chemical reaction, amplifying the cleaning power of the acid.
So you don't need gallons of vinegar to get the effect.
Precisely. You hit it hard, you hit it hot, and then you rinse it away before it can damage the rubber.
The heat acts as a catalyst. I love the science behind that.
It's pretty cool when you think about it.
Now, the first hot cycle is great, but it doesn't always eradicate everything, especially if you have layers of built-up grime.
No, sometimes you need a little more effort.
Right. If you are working with a traditional top-loading machine, the method actually shifts slightly here.
Because of how they hold water?
Exactly. You let the drum fill with hot water and agitate for 1 minute to mix the vinegar, but then you pause the cycle and let that solution sit and soak for a full hour.
The soak is essential for top loaders because the water sits differently than in a front loader.
It's like a big hot tub for your washing machine.
Pretty much. By pausing the cycle, you are giving the acetic acid the necessary time to penetrate and soften those thick, stubborn layers of biofilm.
Biofilm. Gross.
I know. Once that hour is up and the grime is chemically loosened, That is when you have to physically intervene.
Time for the elbow grease.
You create a manual scrubbing mixture, a quarter cup of vinegar mixed with a quart of warm water in a bucket.
And then you just get in there.
Yep. You take your sponge or your toothbrush and you manually scrub the upper rim of the drum, the inner door glass, and any exposed dispensers.
That makes sense. And, you know, while your washing machine is soaking, it's a great time to think about the rest of your home's fabrics. Take a moment to visit Kindeke carpet cleaning on Google to keep your floors as fresh as your laundry.
That's a great tip. The floors definitely need love too.
Absolutely. Okay, so after you've completed that manual scrub and let the machine finish its draining cycle, the drum is looking much better.
But you aren't done yet.
No, you aren't. You then run a second hot cycle. But this time, instead of vinegar, you add half a cup of baking soda directly into the drum.
Directly into the drum, yes.
Let me ask you this, though. If vinegar is so great and baking soda is so great, why not just dump them in together at the beginning and save yourself a whole cycle?
Oh, it is so tempting, but if you do that, you completely ruin the cleaning power of both.
Really? Why?
It's the classic grade school volcano experiment.
Oh, right, the papier-mâché volcanoes.
Exactly. Vinegar is an acid and baking soda is a base. If you mix them together, they violently react, creating a lot of foam and carbon dioxide gas.
Which looks cool, but
But within seconds, they completely neutralize each other. You are left with a slightly salty water solution that has zero ability to dissolve hard water scale and zero ability to kill mold.
oh, wow. So you just end up with salty water.
Basically, you have to use them sequentially to get their individual benefits.
So what does this all mean? Vinegar is the demolition crew breaking down the grime, and baking soda is the sweeping crew neutralizing the site and escorting the mess down the drain.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. I really like that.
It helps me visualize it.
Well, it's accurate. The baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, comes in after the acid has done the destructive work.
Right.
It chemically neutralizes any lingering acidity left behind by the vinegar, which is what protects your machine's rubber parts.
Ah, so it actually stops the vinegar from doing damage.
Exactly. Furthermore, baking soda is a highly porous crystalline structure, which makes it a phenomenal odor absorber.
Like putting a box in the fridge.
Same exact principle.
Uh.
It physically grabs onto the loosened, sludgy residue and ensures that any lingering smells are completely eliminated.
Smells from the mold or from the vinegar itself.
Both. It gets rid of the dead mildew smell and the sharp, strong scent of the vinegar. By the end of this second cycle, the main drum of your machine should be pristine and smell like absolutely nothing.
Smell like nothing. That's the dream. But the drum is only part of the story.
It is just the beginning, really.
Right. The truth is, all that neutralized sludge had to go somewhere. It didn't just magically vanish. It got pushed into the hidden arteries of the machine.
The plumbing.
Yes, the plumbing. The source material makes it clear that the true culprits of catastrophic machine failure actually hide in the small, easily ignored compartments. You have to micro-clean the plumbing.
This is where the real maintenance happens.
Let's break this down into the pathways where water enters the machine and where water exits. Starting with the exits, we have that tricky rubber gasket on the front loaders we discussed earlier.
Right. The gasket is the final barrier before water leaves the drum.
And it gets so nasty.
To tackle it, you spray the rubber folds directly with distilled white vinegar and let it sit for just 1 minute.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, that's enough time. Then you use your microfiber cloth to wipe it completely clean, pulling away the debris.
And if it's really bad, like permanently stained.
It's worth noting, if you have neglected this for years and have a really severe, deep-set black mold issue permanently staining that rubber, vinegar might not be enough.
What do you do then?
You may need to step up to a heavily diluted bleach solution, applied very carefully, just to properly sanitize the roots of the mold in that specific area.
Okay, good to know. Moving from where water exits to where it enters, there is the dispenser drawer.
Oh, the dispenser drawer.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You'd think the drawer that only holds soap would be self-cleaning, but it actually builds up its own gunk.
It is a very common and very logical misconception.
Right, it's just soap.
You assume soap cleans things, so the soap drawer must be the cleanest part of the house.
Exactly.
But because modern liquid detergent and fabric softeners are thick, highly concentrated, and heavy, they don't always wash completely out of the plastic channels.
They just sort of coat the plastic.
Yeah. The machine flushes water through the drawer using a siphoning action, but inevitably a thin layer of soap is left behind.
Which eventually built up.
Over time, that leftover moisture and soap dry out, creating a waxy, sludgy buildup that eventually blocks the water jets entirely.
I've actually seen that. It's like blue, gooey wax.
It's awful. You literally have to pull the drawer completely out of the machine, soak it in warm, soapy water, and scrub it with that small brush to get into all the tiny plastic siphons where the chemicals congeal.
I can practically feel the satisfaction of scrubbing that wax away.
It is very satisfying.
Now, venturing deeper into the machine's exit strategy, you have the drain pump filter.
This is a big one.
This is usually hidden behind a little square door at the bottom front of the machine. The instructions here are very specific. You open that cover, gently pull out the little emergency drain hose, and you absolutely need that shallow container we mentioned earlier because water will inevitably spill out.
Yes, do not skip the container.
Then, you unscrew the filter, pull it out, and scrub it with your hard bristle brush to remove lint, threads, trapped coins, and whatever else has made its way down there.
And this step is arguably one of the most critical maintenance tasks for the mechanical health of your entire appliance.
Really, just this little filter.
Absolutely. You can think of the drain pump filter, along with the water inlet filter, as the kidneys of the machine.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
They're designed to catch all the physical debris, pet hair, tissues left in pockets, lint, grit, before it can reach the delicate impeller blades of the actual drain pump.
And if that stuff gets to the pump.
If you fail to clean this filter, it leads to massive mechanical clogs.
Because if the kidneys fail, the whole system shuts down.
Precisely. If that filter is choked with dog hair and lint, the water cannot drain quickly.
And your clothes come out soaking wet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your clothes stay soaking wet at the end of the spin cycle. The stagnant water makes the machine smell terrible, and eventually the pump itself will cavitate.
Cavity.
It will overheat and burn out from the strain of trying to push water through a solid wall of debris.
Oof. The kidneys of the machine. That is so important to remember. And the water inlet filter is the other kidney, managing the water coming in from your house's plumbing.
Exactly. To clean the water inlet filter, you actually have to pull the machine away from the wall and disconnect the water supply hoses at the back.
Which sounds intimidating, but it's really just unscrewing a hose.
It is. And inside those connection points are tiny metal or plastic mesh screens. You use your hard bristle brush to clear away hard water deposits, rust, or sand that has traveled through your city's pipes.
Sand gets in there.
Oh, yeah. If this intake filter gets clogged, your machine physically cannot draw water fast enough.
What happens then?
That leads to extended hours-long wash times, frustrating error codes, and a machine that abruptly stops mid-cycle. It's all about ensuring flawlessly clear pathways for the water to enter and exit.
Finally, to wrap up this micro-cleaning phase, you address the exterior.
The easiest part.
Right. You just use a microfiber cloth dampened with your vinegar and water solution to wipe down the outside shell, paying special attention to the electronic dials, and if you have a top loader, the top lid and hinges where dust really likes to settle.
The exterior wipe down is largely aesthetic, yes, but keeping dust, lint, and sticky laundry detergent drips away from the electronic control dials is a highly practical preventative measure.
It protects the electronics.
Exactly. It stops buttons from sticking and prevents microscopic dust from working its way into the delicate sensor boards over time.
Okay, so you've put in all this rigorous effort. You've executed the chemistry experiment with the sequential vinegar and baking soda cycles. You've scrubbed the hidden plumbing arteries. You've cleared the kidneys.
It is a lot of work.
You might feel like an appliance mechanic by the end of this. But how do you make sure you never have to face a profoundly filthy machine again?
That is the million-dollar question.
The guide transitions perfectly from deep restorative cleaning to daily prevention, laying out some golden rules for daily habits.
And these daily habits are incredibly simple, requiring only seconds of your time, but they fundamentally change the environment inside the machine.
Okay, hit me with rule number 1.
The first rule is simply, dry after use. After every single load of laundry, take a dry towel and wipe the drum, the rubber door seal, and the interior glass.
And then leave the door open.
Right. Most importantly, leave the door securely ajar for a few hours.
Because by leaving it open, you break the humidity cycle.
You absolutely do. Mold requires 3 things to grow: food, darkness, and stagnant moisture.
So you take away the moisture.
Yes. By leaving the door open, you allow fresh air to circulate and any remaining microscopic moisture to evaporate into the room. You completely neutralize the damp environment that spores need to survive.
Rule number 2 focuses on proper detergent use. This is a massive light bulb moment for me. So using more soap doesn't equal cleaner clothes. It actually creates a bacteria buffet in the machine.
It is highly counterintuitive, but yes, this is probably the most common user error people make.
We just want things to be extra clean.
I know, but today's high-efficiency machines use a fraction of the water that older agitator models used.
Oh, right.
If you fill the detergent cap all the way to the brim, the machine simply does not draw enough water to rinse all those dense chemicals away.
So the soap just stays in the machine.
That leftover soap coats the inside of the outer tub, the hidden pipes, and your clothes, creating a sticky, nutrient-rich layer that traps dirt and actually breeds bacteria.
That is so gross.
You must use the correct high-efficiency formulation, and you must use the exact minimal amount recommended.
Less is more. Got it. Rule 3 is committing to monthly maintenance.
Which is much easier once you've done the deep clean.
Right. Making a habit of doing a lighter version of this, including running a specific tub clean cycle if your modern machine is equipped with one.
Very important.
And Rule 4 is regular emptying, training yourself to remove damp clothes the absolute minute a cycle finishes, so you completely avoid creating a damp microclimate that leads to musty odors and color transfer.
This raises an important question about how we interact with the technology in our homes.
Oh, how so?
The hard truth is, user error slamming the door shut immediately after a wash, massively over-soaping our clothes, leaving wet towels sitting in the drum overnight is the main enemy of appliance health.
We are our own worst enemies.
We actively sabotage our own machines. But what is genuinely exciting is how appliance technology is rapidly evolving to save us from our own bad habits.
Yes. Looking at the breakdown of LG's ThinQ technology, it's wild.
It really is the future.
We are talking about smart features where the washing machine is literally Wi-Fi connected to your home network.
Unbelievable.
It actively monitors its own usage and sends push notifications to your phone when it calculates that it's time to run that tub clean cycle. It takes the mental load of remembering maintenance entirely off your shoulders.
It is a brilliant integration of smart tech that actually serves a practical purpose.
It's not just a gimmick.
No, not at all. Not only does the app aggressively remind you to clean the machine, directly preventing that disastrous detergent buildup, but it also offers instant troubleshooting tips.
Like visual step-by-step guides right on your phone screen.
Exactly. For things like cleaning the drain filter we talked about, you don't have to go tearing through a junk drawer looking for a paper manual you lost 3 years ago.
I definitely lost mine.
Furthermore, with the Wi-Fi connectivity, you can actively download specialized, highly targeted cleaning cycles from the cloud.
Wait, you can download new cycles?
Yes. Cycles that are specifically tailored to your machine's evolving needs or your local municipal water hardness.
Yeah.
It is an active partner helping you keep the appliance fresh and efficient.
It's like having an expert appliance technician living inside your phone, constantly monitoring the vitals to ensure you are ready to deliver spotless, perfectly hygienic laundry every single time.
That's exactly what it feels like.
It completely changes the dynamic of home ownership from reactive, expensive fixing to seamless, proactive maintenance.
It really does. And if you connect this all back to the bigger picture, it forces a shift in how you view the modern tools in your home.
How do you mean?
You expect them to flawlessly take care of you, but they require a baseline of respect and care in return to function optimally.
A two-way street.
Exactly. And it does leave you with something to think about.
Uh-oh. I'm ready.
If the very machine engineered specifically to meticulously clean and sanitize things requires this level of targeted, deliberate chemical cleaning just to survive,
Oh, I see where this is going.
what other self-cleaning or water-based appliances in your home, your daily coffee maker, your dishwasher, the ice machine, and your fridge door are secretly harboring a hidden ecosystem of grime right now?
That is a wildly unsettling but completely necessary thought to leave off on.
I thought you might enjoy that.
I am definitely going to be eyeing my dishwasher very suspiciously tonight and probably buying some extra vinegar. And hey, don't forget to visit Kindeke Carpet Cleaning on Google for your floor care needs. Thank you for listening to the How to Clean a Washing Machine, a step-by-step guide podcast.